soul, feeling the loss of control in the spirit, so colorful. Easy feeling, then let's go to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Rise, rise, keep on rising, rise,
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's preview of the Newcastle United against AC Milan. We welcome everybody onto the show. I don't know how long I'm sticking around here because the power keeps going on and off. So hopefully it'll stay on. We are back as a threesome tonight. Alex has returned, a married man, ladies and gentlemen. So we're pleased that everything went okay for him, and he is now a taken man and off the market. Tonight, we do have some fantastic prizes to give away. We've got lots of members draws tonight, so stick with us for that. You'll have to bear with me if I lose my bearings a little bit. I've had a nasty fall today with the illness I have, so I'm now in my shoulder and wrist are in pretty much agony. My head is woozy, but we plod on. We plod on. So if I get sort of float away, then Billy and Alex are under instructions just to shout very loudly down the microphone at me and get me back in the game. So hopefully everything will go okay. But if you do enjoy tonight's show, as usual, guys, hit that thumbs up button for us. Very, very important. We keep those coming in. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. It is free to do so. And also hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we've uploaded any videos or we schedule in our live shows, which is 11 and 7 most days of the week. You can become a member still if you do so wish by hitting the join button underneath the 3 of our ugly mugs, and also donate to the channel by hitting the $sign at the bottom of the live comments, which of course gets your comments read straight out. So Alex, everyone there's lots of congratulations coming in on the chat, of course. How were things over the weekend?
Amazing. I had a great weekend, great time. Nothing went wrong, surprisingly. No arguments with anybody. It was perfect. Albeit, I think it took all the good luck away, and I'm sorry because we lost both games while I was gone. So yeah, no more holidays for a little while. Let's try and win some football matches. It
does seem to say it is a sort of omen that when you leave the country, Alex, we don't play very well at all. And me and Billy have had to go through two pretty horrendous.
I can't imagine they were very fun watch-alongs.
Oh, they were a joy, Billy, weren't they? I mean, we had so much fun.
I've got Alex's passport here, so can't go anywhere.
Yeah, there you go. So we've taken his passport off him, so he's not allowed out of the country anymore. Right, we'll get on with some. I mean, Alex, just while I set the competition up, what did you actually have? You seen the games or have you watched them back?
I've seen the full Everton game.
Yeah.
I saw bits of it at the time in the airport when I could get the signal to work, and I've watched the game back. I haven't had a chance to watch the full 90 of the Spurs game, but I've seen highlights of it. So yeah, I mean, wait till I've seen the full Spurs game and I'll give my thoughts. However, my 2 cents from what I've seen so far, obviously my opinion now may change. So take it with a pinch of salt. I might completely disagree with myself in 2 days. So we'll see. From what I can see so far, it's down to Should he have rotated and changed things, or should he not? Should he have trusted more kids? Should he not? I feel like that's a big flip of the coin. If he chooses to bring in 2, 3, 4 younger players and it doesn't work, I think he gets crucified. And the opinion is the opposite. In that, why hasn't he trusted the senior players? Surely they can play through some fatigue. We're only in December in the season. I feel like whichever way he played it would have been scrutinized by the media, and then there would have been certain fans. We've got, I'd say, 10-20% of our fan base do jump on people straight away. So I'm not saying that what he's done is correct, but I think it was a case of he's had to pick a direction, and I don't think either direction would have worked. I think we would have lost with rotation or without rotation. I think we would have lost both of those games. I just think it happens. You go through these periods, ebbs and flows. However, we've got some returning players now. I do think it will start to change. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about our away form versus home form and different bits. I feel like that's been looked into slightly too much, but it is.
I'm not sure, Alex. We brought some stats up on the show the other day.
No, I've seen all of them. I have had a look, but I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's still too early for it to be an absolute dead cert. I think there are coincidences about certain things. I think it's coming up against teams at the wrong time. I feel like we came up against Everton at the wrong time. I did say in the preview, Everton looked really good against Man United in their first half. Ten Hag was chatting absolute nonsense. Everton looked like a good side. We talked about that in the preview. Obviously, Tottenham, a very, very good side. And at home, you know, we talked about the Spurs rebuild in pre-season. I thought Spurs were going to be really good in the Postecoglou. It's just, I think the only one that's frustrating, the only one that's really irritating is the Bournemouth loss. However, they've just done the same to Man United. So we can safely say they're not a bad team. There's no bad teams in the Premier League, really, apart from Sheffield United. Sorry, Sheffield United. There's generally no bad teams in the Premier League. And anybody can beat anybody. So we're just going to have to take it with a pinch of salt. But I do feel like whichever way we rolled was going to be an issue. I don't think we were going to come out of these few fixtures with much. I would have predicted, had I been here, I would have predicted a loss against Spurs. Not a 4-1, but I thought it might have been a 2-1 or a 2-0 to Spurs. It would have been my first loss prediction of the season. Frustrated that we lost to Everton, but you can see why. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that so far.
Yeah. Right. Well, we have our first giveaway tonight, guys. And remember, this is members only. So if you aren't a member and you try and put in for it, then the mods will just delete your comments. So it's pretty pointless. This is the first one we have, is the signed photo and autograph of Kevin Keegan, which will be lovely on a frame. So what you need to do to win that, members, is simply put in the comments hashtag King Kev, all in lowercase, hashtag King Kev, KINGKEV, and you can start doing that from now. Hashtag King Kev, and that's to members only, of course. This is a sort of massive giveaway for our members to thank them for obviously being a member of the channel. So hashtag King Kev, and you still have a chance. If you want to become a member, just hit the join button. Billy, news today that Dan Burn could possibly be back on the bench.
Yeah, it's a very kind of swift return, isn't it, for someone that was supposed to be out till the beginning of February with a spinal injury. It's a massive comeback, and fair play to him if he has got himself back so quick. A place on the bench seems to be the place for him at the moment, but it does give us a bit of rotation opportunity, doesn't he? If he is back, and if he plays 20 minutes tomorrow and maybe plays Saturday, yeah, it could be good for us. And obviously going into a big game next week at Chelsea, so. The more players we get back, the better for me. If we get them all back, happy days.
Yeah, and it gives us an option, Billy, of course, to play him at centre back if needed as well. To give maybe Fabian Schär a break at some point.
It's potentially. I mean,
I don't want to see Dan Burn at centre half.
No, nor do I.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that it gives us an option, though, doesn't it? I mean, especially for maybe Chelsea away in the cup, resting guys. I don't know.
His last game against Brighton away, he was horrendous, to be honest. So I'd much rather see him rotate with Livramento left back, because I mean Livramento probably needs rest also. I mean, he's played every game in the past couple of weeks, so he won't play tomorrow. I wouldn't have thought, but certainly on the bench, it'd be great if he is fit. We'll see him on the bench. It's a fantastic option for us.
John Green, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up. Much appreciated, mate. And thank you for your ongoing support. We'll leave this open for just a couple of minutes because obviously we've got a lot to give away tonight on the show. Alex, there was rumours, of course, of Harvey Barnes coming back and things like that, but Eddie Howe's quashed them. We do have some quotes from Eddie Howe's press conference earlier on. His first comments were the fact that we are very positive going into the game. It has all the hallmarks of being a very special night. All we can do is try and win the game and give our best performance. We want to make this a magical European night. Interestingly said, very positive going into the game, given the results.
Yeah, because it's at home. It's a European tie. It's at home. A few of them will be very, very up for it. We have got a bit of depth returning from injury. I would say, yeah, there's optimism. We bounce back well, typically, from these kinds of runs in form. Whether it starts tomorrow or it starts the game after, who knows? But they look like they're up for it. Callum Wilson certainly does. I mean, have you got his quote there? I think I've got it here. Yeah. So Wilson said, "We will leave blood, sweat, and tears out there tomorrow for the whole team. It's about having no regrets. Am I ready to start? I was born ready." So they look absolutely up for it. So I'd be disappointed if there's not a bounce back. We're not always expected to beat these top teams. Milan are a great team, but we want to see a bit more, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, training videos were interesting today. Keith Downey reporting that three players were missing. Two of them were Anthony Gordon and Martin Dubravka, Billy. Is maybe Gordon just rested before the game? Because obviously there's those stories of Dubravka being injured.
I would hope so. That it's just a rest for Gordon. I think he'll be key for us to get the result we want with his pace, with the crowd behind him. I think it'll be a massive plus if he's playing. And if he's not playing, it'll be a massive minus, let's be honest. He's the key to all of our kind of attacking threat on that left-hand side. So, yeah, hopefully Gordon's okay, just resting. He has played plenty of games. That could be the case. Yeah. But as for Dubravka, the road rumours he's got a shoulder injury. And if he's not fit... If he's not fit, if he's not fit, I mean, I don't see any come down to carry us because, I mean, Dubravka hasn't been great the past couple of games, as we've kind of stated the past couple of days. So, yeah, I'll be happy to see Carriers play.
Not small, but still Lorden has gifted a Toon Review membership, and the membership has gone to Pedro. So well done, Pedro. I did see a comment from you earlier on saying, no, unfortunately, I can't afford to be a member, but still a class channel. Well, there you go. You've been gifted. That's incredible that it's come up to Pedro. So there you go, Pedro. You're now a member. And so you can enter the members' draws. Yeah. Absolutely. So, right, we'll do the first one now. This is obviously for Kevin Keegan. Let me just get my little screen up here so everybody can see the draw. There we are. Right, can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is for the Kevin Keegan photo. And the winner is Howe. So is Howe there? Let us wait and see. You've got 1 minute. Usual rules apply to the giveaways. You've got 1 minute to put in the chat that you know you've won. This is where it gets to. This is where the show turns into countdown a little bit here. So, Howe, put in the chat. There he is. Thank you. Yes, that was a very quick reply. Well done to you, Howe. So if you can send me an email, matey, it's in the description near the bottom. Send me an email with a subject. Put in the subject Kevin Keegan photo, and then put your address in the email, matey, and we'll get that sent out tomorrow. All the prizes are going tomorrow. So you will have them in time for Christmas. So well done to Howe. He is our first winner of the night. The second prize that we are giving away tonight is Sir Les. So Les Ferdinand. So this is the next one. We will set this off in just a second. Right, so to win the Les Ferdinand photo, it is members only again. Obviously, this is all members only tonight. Hashtag Sir Les all in lowercase. Hashtag Sir Les, SIRLES. Hashtag Sir Les. And this is members again. Away you go. Alex, obviously we need to get something from the game tomorrow. Jules has just gifted a Toon Review membership as well, and I didn't see who that went to. Just bear with me a second. God, I don't actually know who it went to. Oh, I Like Coffee has got the membership, so there you go. You are now a member. You can enter as well. It's a tough game tomorrow, Alex, that we need to get something out of, but Milan need to get us something out of it as well. But they've got injuries as well, by all accounts.
Yeah, not as impactful as ours.
Mm.
I would say that's not really a stick they can use to beat this sort of preview with on their YouTube channels or programs or podcasts, whatever it is. I feel like that's definitely something we can use. I feel like if they use it, it's a bit preemptively excusey for me. Obviously, they had Calabria got sent off in their last game against Atalanta, but I think he's still going to be available. I think it's only just a domestic ban.
Yeah.
But I mean, they should be able to go into this full of optimism. I have seen the last game against Dortmund, and Dortmund did to them exactly what they did to us. I think Dortmund have come away with 9 points for the 2 games against us and that game against Milan that they won 3-1. Dortmund have come away with an absolute. They've stolen points, but it's fair play. It's old school shithousery. They've been very, very, very efficient with counter attacks. They've been solid. They've been hard to beat. And if you look at like sort of the momentum and XG from AC Milan in that game, they win that game 9 times out of 10. They were the better team. They were the dominant team. They had better high value opportunities. They had all of it, and they got hit for 3 goals. It just happens. But so Milan are a good team. They're experienced. They've got strength. They've got different qualities in wide players and strong wide players. A traditional centre forward. Then you've got your Loftus-Cheek. So they've got a really nice spread of talent and weapons that they can use, and they can be a dominant team again. But I feel like the factor here is the lads will be up for it, and it's at home. So yeah, in terms of excuses, I don't think there can be any from Milan. I think they've just played pretty much we've 5 out of 6 group stage matches now. Everybody's had their feelers out. Everybody's settled into the group, into the Champions League, and into the season. There's no excuses now. They certainly can't offer any. I feel like we can to a point. Bad run of form and fatigue and injuries returning. I feel like this game's come maybe 2 or 3 weeks too early for us, but we've got to deal with it. We've just got to try and deal with it. So we've got a good 11, and we've won games previously when we've been knackered. We should have beat PSG in the previous game, and we were absolutely exhausted in that game. So we shall see.
Ronald's up to his usual tricks tonight again, trying to enter the competitions when he's not a member, but the mods are right on top of that. Thank you, guys. We've had 3 people gifting memberships there while Alex has been chatting. Toon Dave gifted a month's membership. Yogi gifted a month's membership, as did John Adams. So thank you very, very much. I don't actually know who got those, but it's come flying past in the chat. So thank you very much to you guys for gifting those memberships. Right, we'll do this draw. We've got 85 entries to this one. So this is again. There we go. And here we go. Who will win this one? Alex, have you entered these?
Potentially.
Oh. And the winner of... there he is. Toon Trev.
He's nearly won it as well.
Nearly won it. Toon Trev 27. You have won. Can you put in the chat that you know you've won, please? You've got 1 minute to do so. Anthony Stafford has gifted 5 memberships, and they've gone to Takoina Frears, Luke Owens, Vincent N, Anna Kelly, and KK Chia. You've been gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Where is Toon Trev? Come on, Toon Trev. Put in the chat that you know you've won.
I feel like we've done this dance before with Toon Trev.
Have we?
I feel like we have.
Okay. Well, he's got about 20 seconds. There he is. Toon Trev. Right, Toon Trev, send me an email, please. In the subject, put Les Ferdinand photo, and the email, of course, just your email address. Your home address, and we'll get that sent out to you tomorrow. Well done, matey. So there is another one gone. And the next one is Jackie Milburn.
Jackie.
War Jackie Lake, absolute legend at the football club, of course. Just bear with me and I'll tell you what you need to put in to win this one. Hashtag. Again, a members draw this one. And to win this one is simply, as Billy has just quoted, War Jackie. So it's hashtag War Jackie. WORJACKIE, all in lowercase. Hashtag War Jackie. Toon Davies spelled that wrong, so you'll need to go again, matey. Make sure you spell it right, guys, as it won't be entered. But again, this is members only. So get entering, guys. And of course, the mods will just kick anybody out who tries to be a funny bugger. Well done, Stato. You're in there. Good. He's in for these. Billy, are you? I know you weren't too confident last night when we did the review of the Tottenham game, moving into this one against Milan. Where do you stand today?
Oh, as the game gets near, I always get more confident. I just don't see us losing at home, if I'm perfectly honest. I think the crowd will carry us through, despite the fatigue that's obvious. It's going to be a hard watch. It's going to be tense. Absolutely, I think it will be. I think there'll be some moments where we'll be scared and we'll be fearful of some kind of qualification for either the Europa League or the Champions League. But I think the crowd will pull us through it, and I honestly believe that it's a chance of us to even go through in Champions League, because I think the Dortmund PSG game is no kind of certainty where that's going to go. So who knows where we end up at the end of it? But I'll see us doing our job, and that's all we can do, really.
Yeah. Chia, the prizes are for anybody, anywhere in the world. If you're a member, you can enter. Simple as that. Alex, I mean, look, Dan Burn coming back is a good sign if he is indeed on the bench. I pretty much take it with a pinch of salt at the minute because of 1 minute somebody's coming back, 1 minute they're out again for another 2 weeks, so it's very difficult to judge. We'll see. Tony Ross has just gifted another 5 memberships as well. They've gone to Ben Smith and Toon Army, JB NUFC, Martin Watson, and Bruno Genius. You've all been gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Very kind of you, Tony. Thank you indeed. We'll have a look at what Eddie had to say again. Now, on the brilliant backing from our supporters, he says, they have been there for us this season. We are going to need every voice. Every person can make a difference for us. We need to create an atmosphere. The supporters have never let us down at home. They have really driven us on in tight games. They've really given us the ability to carry on. We are going to need that again. So I guess, Alex, it's good.
And there's the power cut.
Yeah, I think you may have had a power cut. So I don't know what Eddie Howe said, Alex, but he was going to talk about Dan Burn, I think, and the depth of the squad. I think, I'm not sure. Dan
Burn, depth of the squad, crowd. Well, we'll fill in the blanks, and I'll answer the question anyway. In terms of intensity and getting the crowd back on side, I think they're being rested very carefully this week. They had a walking, stretching training session today. So that they are ready for this. They know what's expected of them. I mean, this is why it's great to have such a good coaching setup, because they all know their jobs now. So it doesn't hurt really to rest a little bit and maybe do some more in-depth stuff and analysis wise. I think it will be fine. We've played this team before as well away from home, so the lads have done their homework on them extensively, I would imagine. So yeah, but the crowd will be very important. The lads have lost a few games. They are winners. I mean, we have tried to build a team of winners, but they will be a little bit lower in confidence, I would imagine. Whether they come out with their speeches, of course they will. They're very strong, athletic, egotistical, winning mentality people. That's who they are. But is doubt there? Possibly. So the crowd really help there. If somebody plays a duff pass or something, if the crowd sort of go, come on, have a go, it does help. It massively helps. It's not even up for debate. It's very clear that the crowd helps our team specifically. There's a good bond there that's been spoken of before. It will be critical. It will be important. We need it to be authentic, though. I feel like, I don't know how you feel about this. Possibly people in the chat might be able to relate to this. I feel like there's been a couple of games recently where our attempts to sort of get the crowd up and running were a bit fake.
Yeah,
you can't just look at them and just do that. There's got to be it's got to be the right moment. You've got to mean it. It's got to be passionate. You've got to be on the same wavelength as each other. It's like the crowd is one person and the player is another. You've got to make sure you do that at the right time. I feel like there's been a couple of moments where they've just kind of gone, it has to be at the right moment. They have to be, it's like a choir and the conductor. We've got to make sure it's all together. And in terms of Dan Burn, I don't want him anywhere near the pitch yet. Good player, reliable. He gives us an extra element. An extra different element, I would say, different element with the height and the different things he can do. However, I don't feel, it's a kind of player that maybe will need a game or two. He hasn't got the time for that. Milan's a big game. We need 3 points in this game to try and get through to another competition. This isn't the moment. This isn't the moment to be seeing if Dan Burn is ready.
No.
In my opinion, I'm happy for Dan Burn to come back in as rotation, of course. But right now, I think Livramento is more than fine. And you've got to trust people that were doing well before that. I think we're too. At what point do you start changing the defense when you concede 7 in 2 games? That's bad. Of course it is. But if you look at the nature of the goals as well. I mean, where do we think most of these goals have come from? What's the overall reason, do we think, for these 7 goals? Do we feel like it's mostly goalkeeper? It's midfield gaps. It's poor defensive work from centre halves. What's the general understanding from everybody?
Well, the 3 against Everton with Trippier.
So avoidable. Personal mistakes.
Yeah,
we can cut those out.
Doubt.
It's not that
getting beat in the near post. A couple of errors from Dubravka in the Spurs game as well. A couple of errors from Trippier as well, strangely enough. But
okay,
yeah, they have been individual errors mainly. It's not been down.
So 2/3, 3/4 of these goals have just been individual mistakes, which can be eliminated. And then then all of a sudden we're in the games. Yeah, it seems like fatigue. I mean, Dubravka, there seems to be a big debate about, do we put Karius in? I mean, I guess I'm kind of taken over by accident, but I feel like it's a natural progression of this conversation. Karius or Dubravka? I'm sure Paul had that in his notes somewhere. What are we feeling? Because obviously I gave a big speech pre-Everton. We're either going to see a very much improved Dubravka from all this time away, or we're going to see something not great.
Yeah, we did a poll yesterday, and Loris Karius come out on top quite convincingly, actually, with the poll we did yesterday. But as for the draw, that's going to be done tomorrow now. Paul won't be back with the rest of the show. He has power cut, so the draw will be done tomorrow. But of course, the ones already won, that's still in the bag. Have you got any kind of stats you can put up, Stato, for the Milan game? How they'll line up and stuff like that?
I have a few bits. Yeah, let's
have a look at what we've got then.
Let's share the screen. There we are. So, predicted lineup from FOTMob, because the game is tomorrow. So we do get a nice little lineup. So no changes predicted our side from FOTMob, apart from Longstaff is obviously available.
Yeah.
No other predictions with Burn or anything of that note. I think this team does kind of pick itself. Obviously I've not seen all of the Spurs game back.
Well,
what happened with Wilson versus Isak? Did Wilson, who started?
Isak started. He was absolutely abysmal. He was just a passenger. He had not much effort went into it. He had one chance where Gordon got through, rifled it across. Ben Davies got a merest of toe on it, and Isak a yard out from goal just couldn't get to it. Hit his shin and went wide. But apart from that, he showed little. Wilson came on at 60th minute kind of time and looked sharp as attack.
Oh, really?
Did all the pressing, did the physical stuff. Also missed a great chance with a header very late on in the game. But yeah, looked really sharp. And I will be starting with Wilson tomorrow, if I'm perfectly honest.
Okay. Interesting. So Wilson to start. I mean, maybe you could rotate it. Maybe you could start Wilson for an hour, and because this is how they were most effective early doors in the season.
I mean, he may play both, of course. He could always put Isaac out wide and Gordon on the right hand side, because Mickey was also a passenger for the 90 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Miggy was he's had a lot of criticism in recent weeks. I've seen a lot on social media. It is a shame because he does a reasonably good job, but as soon as the left-footed stuff stops working, he does get absolutely hammered. And he is quite one-dimensional in the offensive part of his game is quite one-dimensional. If that bit stops, there's not really a lot else going on, which I feel really harsh saying that because I love him, but it's hard. I mean, it's true, isn't it? It's difficult. It is difficult, but yeah, that's fair. Isaac out left. I'm not sure if he's got enough in the tank though to play out on the left wing for most of the game.
Potentially not. But look at Milan's side, and we can see an obvious kind of change there with Hernandez coming in from left back in centre half. They must have injuries in centre half. Tomori looks to be the only fit centre half they have. And the midfield looks slightly different from the first game as well, with Loftus-Cheek being in. So, yeah, there's a few changes there for Milan, isn't there, from the first game?
Yeah, Musa, very, very capable player. Reinders, very good as well. Loftus-Cheek is the physicality there, and he's very good at driving the ball. Pulisic is the speedster. Leao is just, well, again, he's bodybuilder Alan St. Maximin, isn't he, with tons of end product. So we do have to be careful of them. Again, it is worth mentioning we were very, very lucky to come away with a point in this first game. They annihilated us in the first game. We managed to come away with a point with some magnificent defending and a bit of luck. So this time we do need to try and take the game by the scruff of the neck. This is our backyard. We don't want to be dominated at home. I do appreciate we're still early doors with this project. We're well ahead of schedule, but we don't like it. We're kind of used to playing better, and it would be hard to stomach getting dominated by a team at home. And I think we've managed to, we've managed to not be dominated by bigger teams in the Premier League like Man City and Liverpool and stuff. We've looked really, really sharp. So we'll have to see. But as you've said, Calabria. So Calabria got sent off against Atalanta in the game that they lost.
He's the captain, isn't he? Yeah.
Hernandez obviously normally plays as a fullback, and Florenzi's come in. So definitely changes. So let's have a look at some other stuff. So this was their game against Atalanta. They did lose 3-2. They started a similar side. Obviously, it was Chukwueze out on the right and Pulisic played left, so Leao wasn't playing in this game. Same sort of midfield with Musa playing out on the left. So very similar to what we're likely to see tomorrow. The only predicted changes, Leao coming in. Quite funny because De Ketelaere is obviously out on loan. And I think he's out on loan. I don't think he went permanently. So they played well with a wing, sort of a wing system in a 3-4-3 with Lookman playing very well in Serie A. And how was the momentum of the game? Yeah, I mean, it just looked like Atalanta deserved it with 3.33 XG as well. So they put up the shots. They put up the shots on target. The XG, they had good momentum. They didn't have all of the ball though. They just looked like they were quite clinical. You can see by the shot map here that they had a lot of chances inside the box, whereas a lot of AC Milan shots were very speculative. They only had a handful inside the box, and a few they did score from. So it's about we're capable of doing this if we're careful, limiting people to shots from outside the box. We've just got to make sure we put some goals away. This was their loss to Dortmund, in which they did dominate them. Obviously it was on their home turf. Again, a similar system with Calabria in there. Obviously they had Adli playing in midfield, so a little bit different, but a similar back line. And if we scroll down and have a look, Milan absolutely dominated the first hour of this game, and it was 1-1, but they ended up losing. The XG was pretty even with Milan sort of 0.5 ahead, more shots, equal shots on target, more big chances. Again, quite a lot of speculative shots I'll say 5 shots outside the box. You can definitely have at them. Counter-attacks are going to be crucial as well. We're going to need to make sure that we're competent. We need to be able to knit 3 or 4 passes together on the break, which is something that our counter-attacking has been breaking down a lot recently. In games that I've seen, I do feel like it's just one of those. I can see Julie J's just said won't be a clean sheet. Well, we don't need it to be a clean sheet. We just need to win the game. I agree. I think we're going to struggle to keep a goal out, judging by our recent defensive performances, the confidence of the lads, and the quality that AC Milan are going to bring. I don't think it's a disaster if we concede a goal. We need to score some goals of our own. That's the main point. What else are we going to look at?
The player that's impressed me in the European campaign for Milan has been Loftus-Cheek. He's been outstanding, and it might surprise a few people for me to say that, but he's been really, really good for them in Europe. He was outstanding against PSG, and of course, he may have come into close quarters with an old Chelsea teammate of his, with Livramento on that side, mightn't he?
Indeed, yeah. But there you go. This is Loftus-Cheek data. Oh,
pretty good.
Now, yeah. I mean, so aerial duels won, and he just walks the ball forward, and people can't take it off him. I mean, this is what we wanted him to be in England. It didn't quite materialise, but reasonably competent at passing the ball around. He just drives the ball forward. It was just he had a lot of injury question marks over his head when he was in the UK, but it does seem like he sorted that out. A few people have just asked about the Lewis Miley thing, and I know we're. Has he got data yet? Oh, he has data. Okay, we'll look at it on another show. We won't look at it now because it's. But yeah, Lewis Miley does have data, but it seems a little bit unlikely he's going to play. I think it's a lot more likely that Longstaff's going to come in and start. Do you see anything likely to change compared to this sort of predicted lineup?
No, I'll just see the Wilson threes at one, and however that transpires as a forward three, he may rest Almiron, he may rest Isak. I think one of them two will definitely. I think Karius will play. There's a rumour that Dubravka has a sore shoulder and it wasn't fully fit for the 2 games he just played. But apparently he's kept it quiet until after the Spurs game, which ain't great. But yeah, Karius for Dubravka and Wilson for one of Isak or Almiron, I'm thinking.
How are they doing in the league? Third, 26 goals for 18 goals against, 4 losses, 2 draws. They've got more points than we have in their league at the moment. Statistically, they are doing Giroud top scorer with 8 goals, Pulisic and Leao behind. How are they doing in terms of team statistics? Third in Serie A for goals scored, 8th for goals conceded. So they are conceding, middle of the park. XG of 4, clean sheet 6. Very high average possession for the league, which you would expect. Tricky one. Don't do long balls. 17th for long balls. Lower than middle of the park for crosses. Yeah, it's just your traditional spread of they try and build up carefully. Possession won in final third, not a lot. They don't seem to press very high. They are going to be away from home, so I wouldn't see that. Not a lot of tackles. If we're competent with it, I could see us having a lot of the ball, which would be very useful for us. Fingers crossed we will.
Yeah, I mean, the centre halves have got to be keyed up tomorrow, haven't they? They've got to be concentrating for 90 minutes because Olivier Giroud is one of them strikers that you can't lose sight of for a minute, can you?
Well, all he needs is not even half a yard. A quarter of a yard, he'll put a header in the back of the net. He is extremely experienced. I'd probably say he's probably the most experienced striker in Europe right now. I mean, who else is there that's left in Europe that's got his CV? Lewandowski, maybe, but I'd say Giroud is older and has got a little bit more experience in more leagues as well, having started off obviously in Ligue 1 and played for a few top English clubs as well.
He's a top player, isn't he? He has no pace whatsoever, but he gets in them spots, doesn't he, where he finds himself a half a yard of space, and he's clinical with his finishing as well. So we've really got to keep our eyes on him.
Well, obviously, Lascelles is normally quite good at that, but
yeah,
is Giroud going to target Fabien Schär specifically? Obviously, not his natural side. Obviously, a lot of people have said that Fabien Schär has been exceptional on the left side. Of course, he has. It's opened up a lot of different passing options for him. But movement and defensive movement-wise, it can be trickier if it's not your natural side. Giroud and Pulisic might try and target that. Just got to be careful aerially that he doesn't get a little bit of space. And flick-ons as well. Flick-ons for Pulisic. And there are dangers there that we have to try and account for.
Yeah, KK2 asked the question: if we draw, do we enter the Europa? I believe we do, don't we? I believe we've got a better goal difference than Milan. The head-to-head's the same, but a better goal difference. So I think we go.
That's our group.
Yeah, a draw will get us into Europa, won't it? The head-to-head's the same, and we've got a better goal difference. So yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, if we draw, yeah, that would make sense because if we draw, it means we've got the same results against Milan, and we have the better goal difference. Yeah, so a draw sees us into the Europa League. So a draw would be magnificent. I think that would be a lot of people talking about maybe we shouldn't go into the Europa League because we don't need the extra games. I disagree with that. Just play the extra games. You know, it's extra TV revenue, it's extra experience for the lads. I understand it's challenging, but it's football. It's what you play for. You know, you just don't want to throw away games. You know, we're not Spurs. Sorry, King Huddle. But yeah, a win would be great. A win would be absolutely. There's still the chance of us qualifying. And to be completely honest, after the absolute scandal against PSG, I think we deserve to qualify. I really do, because I think we'd be in prime position to be qualifying from this game had we have been given the correct result and not been absolutely robbed. So I would really, really like it to. I'd like it to go our way. I think we deserve it. I really do, based on that result.
This comment from Predator is a double-edged sword. I hope Man United get battered tonight. Kane hat-trick come in. I mean, it's a kind of no lose situation for us, because they get battered, we have a good laugh at it. But if they win, of course, it increases the chances of a fifth place being Champions League football next season. So, you know, you pay your money, you take your choice. There's rumours that Leao's injured, but he's missed a few games, and I bet he's going to be back, don't they, for tomorrow?
He's in the predicted lineups. He's a big player. I mean, if not, they've got Chukwueze as well. So
yeah,
it could go a few different ways. But if Leao's even remotely possible, I'd play him, because Milan can still go through, depending on results. So this is the game. I mean, this game, if you get out of the group and then you win your first knockout game and potentially have a decent, you know, that gets you what, an extra few fixtures. That's millions of pounds in TV revenue for the club. That can be, you know, for player salaries and investment in infrastructure and academies. Like it's enormous. It's absolutely enormous. At this point, we are very fortunate to be in this. Well, I say fortunate. We earned it. We're not fortunate, but you know what I mean. It's great that we're in this situation because there's good revenue from it. It'd be great to win. It would help us financially. It really would. It'd give us a bit more wiggle room. And it would be great going into January if we've qualified from the group as well. It would maybe give us a tiny bit more wiggle room in terms of player recruitment, and might help with attracting if we're still in the Champions League as well. So there are benefits to it.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get rid of that then. That's all the stats we've got. Lineups. I guess we do the lineups now. What do you think we'll play tomorrow? Do you think that it'll be as you've seen, or do you think there'll be changes?
Well, if there's any truth in the shoulder thing for Dubravka, then I would say Karius. Yeah, if there's even a remote case of, you know, 7 goals conceded and a rumoured injury, just bench him. Sorry, Martin, but it is what it is. You know, we want to win football matches. It's not personal. So I'd say Karius has to come in. In terms of Dan Burn, I think it's too early. It's not the right game to be trying to bed someone in back from injury at all. It's a must-win game. Final game of the Champions League group stage. So I expect the back four to stay the same, with Livramento, Fabian Schär, Jamal Lascelles and Kieran Trippier. The midfield is a bit more optional. It very much depends on if we think Longstaff's going to come in ahead of Miley, whether obviously Longstaff's not going to be fully match fit yet, but that doesn't always matter. You know, Joe Linton came back from injury against Man City in the Cup and put in an absolutely phenomenal performance. So it doesn't always make that much of a difference, especially with the intensity people train at. And the fact that Longstaff was omitted from today's training, I feel gives you an indication that he's going to play, in my opinion.
I think so.
And based on what you've told me, because obviously, again, I've not seen all of the Spurs game back yet, I would say Wilson is a good shout to start. I don't think Isak's going to start, though. I don't think he'll play wide left. I think Gordon will start left, and then Miggy on the right.
Yeah, I'll tend to agree with everything you've said there. I think Karius in goal, Trippier, Lascelles, Cher, and Livramento, Bruno, Longstaff, and Joe Linton, Miggy, Wilson, and Gordon. So that's like for like is exactly the same. Alan Brown with a rubber, and quite right too. This is a great comment. The lads will really need our support tomorrow night. Let's commit to be vocal from start to finish. That includes the tourist fans who will no doubt be there because they seem to manage to pick up the Champions League ticket somehow. Hopefully they're not filming the game from start to finish and actually get behind the team along with the rest of the crowd. But that's a massive, great comment, Alan, and it's very important that the crowd are in it from minute one because it's a home game and we've got to have some sort of advantage, haven't we? And all our coffee says, don't forget to take your scarves for tomorrow's game. Absolutely. Let's make it a real hostile atmosphere for Milan. I mean, it's not going to affect them as much as some teams it would. But yes, it's very important that we do get behind our lads. Right, predictions for the game, Sato. What are you thinking? Are you optimistic or are you the other way?
I do think we'll concede. So I'm going to go for the minimum I can offer if we do concede, which is 1. So I think we'll concede a goal. And then I do back us to start putting our shooting boots back on because a consolation goal against Spurs isn't really good enough. You know, if we're going to concede, fine, but we need to be trying to create stuff. We've been a bit wasteful in the last sort of 3 weeks. And luck does change. Things do start hitting the back of the net. We've had a lot of crossbars and skimmed over the posts and, you know, it does even out over the course of a season. I think we'll score at least 2, but I'm going to go for 3. I think we'll win. I think that will be helpful. I think momentum will carry us over. I think it's going to be a really close game, maybe 1-1 until quite late on, maybe 2, but then I feel like momentum will carry us over and we'll score some late goals. Similar to what it was against Brighton. If people remember the Brighton game at home towards the end of last season, it was a very close game. And then sort of late on, we just overran them and scored a few goals. I'm going to go for that kind of game. I think it's going to be really close and nervy and frustrating, but I do feel like we've got enough passion as well in the ground to get a 3-1. Goal scorers. I'll go with Wilson to get back on the score sheet. I think he's good for it. I'm going to go with Wilson for 2. And I will go with... Who's good for a goal at the moment? I'm going to go with Miggy. I'm going to go with Miggy because he's not had any shooting boots on recently. A lot of left-footed shots have gone wide. And he's reasonably good at them. I feel like one of them will go in. 3-1.
You watched the game against Spurs and the one he missed there was you might be changing your tune. Welcome back to Members Club for Barbara. She's finally got her membership back on track again, and therefore she'll be able to enter the competitions tomorrow, which is great when we do them again. So, thinks 3-0, Karius clean sheet, Dortmund and PSG 1 each, he thinks. Tonali tweeted 3-1, apparently Ian McKenna says. Ronald Woods thinks 4-1, David T 3-1, Tom Dixon 2-1. Mighty Mag says Dortmund are going to win tomorrow, we'll get the second spot. I like Coffee says, I hope the referee shows a red card to Ricochet. Tuli J says 3-1 to Newcastle. Very, very positive. Very, very positive. And I wasn't of that yesterday and Sunday. I must be honest. I didn't think that we would be winning this game. But as time's gone on and as the game gets closer, I do believe we'll win the game. And I think it'll be. I also think 3-1.
I always end up convincing you. I don't know how.
No, honestly, if you asked me on Sunday, I would have said a 2-0 defeat. But I think 3-1 Newcastle. And I think Wilson will score. I think Gordon, he had Calabria on toast at times in Milan. I think he'll score. And I think we'll get Joe Linton will score also. He's got his shooting boots back on. Great goal of the day. Great finish. So 3-1 to Newcastle for me. Whether that's enough to get us through to the Champions League or not is another thing, but we will have some kind of European football with that.
Well, with the way Dortmund have been performing recently, shutting teams out, they're the one. If anybody in the group was going to shut PSG out for a must game, I'd pick Dortmund because they've been so frustrating. Which is great for them, but hopefully going to be great for us.
Yeah, I do worry about refereeing decisions and things though, and with the PSG owner being on the UEFA board and all that. Exactly. Corma thinks we'll play better, but we'll lose 2-0 to Milan. 3-1 Toon victory, says Mary. Lots and lots of mainly confidence. 3-1 Wilson 2 and share, says Niall. Andy 82 says 1-0 Kraft in the 99th minute. There's nowhere on earth I'll be 9 minutes injury time. I can guarantee you that if it's still 0-0. Facebook, whoever that is on Facebook thinks 1 apiece. Ian Fleming thinks 1 apiece. That'll be enough, of course, for Europa League. Corma thinks Milan will score goals against them in a play. Jackie says 2-1. Bob Black says 3-1. Both to us. Antacid thinks I can too. We're doing it in style tomorrow. I Like Coffee says payback for the Tonali deal. Baz says what a turnaround. I always do this, mate. Seriously, I always do this. I'm always negative as hell. And then as the game gets closer and closer, I start getting the heart starts taking over the head.
We do have bounce backs. It's not. We're not like that. There are certain teams that lose a few games, draw, lose, win, draw. In the last if you go and look at all of our results, it's poor run of form, bounce back. We win a bunch of games on the trot and we win them convincingly. It's go and look at all the previous sort of runs of form. It's always. Well, again, like I said at the start of the show, doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. It might happen next week. However, we do have bounce back ability, which is now a real word. I don't see a draw in this game. I'd be really frustrated if it's a draw because I feel like both teams really need a win to get through. A draw, technically a draw suits us more than them, so they will be playing all out for the win. If it's 0-0 or 1-1 late on in the game. They're going to have to throw big guns on. They're going to have to throw everything forward. They need to win this game to try and qualify for another competition. Yep. So whether that opens up space, if I can stop dying for 1 second, sorry, it might open up space for us. But I think it will be an exciting game based on all of that. We need, we could go for the draw, which is possibly even more dangerous for us because we don't want to try and protect a draw. It's not quite. Eddie Howe hates it when we do that. He's very critical of the guys.
Yeah, I don't think that's our style.
Yeah, but it is occasionally, and Eddie Howe hates it. Whenever the lads drop too deep and defend a lead, the post-match interview is always, I think we defended a bit too deep. I think we dropped a bit too far back. He hates it. He's actively trying to drag them out. But sometimes as footballers, they just, subconsciously you're trying to protect what you've got if it's enough. It's a mentality thing.
I think Dubravka in goal makes us defend deep anyway because he doesn't sweep a keep, does he? Whereas Karius does.
Have we not really seen anything of it against Spurs? No.
Oh God, he was slow as hell coming out, mate. You can see the penalty because he was too slow coming out. None of it at all really. His distribution seems better, but unfortunately, he's so slow coming off his line. And I guess the first goal against Everton was down to that really because he was slow coming out to try and close the angles down. It was it weren't great. What time is the show tomorrow? Says Ben. Well, what time's kickoff? Is it 7:45?
It is. If I can see, it says 8 o'clock kickoff on FOTMob. So I would imagine it'd be 15-30 minutes before.
Yeah, it'll be half an hour before kickoff. So if it's 8 o'clock, it'll be 7:30. If it's 7:45, it'll be 7:15. So just check the kickoff. It'll be half an hour before that. I believe it'll be the three of us on tomorrow. I think we're going to go three-handed tomorrow. Whether we win is a different story, says Geordie. And 1-8, says Eric. Paul Feeney thinks 2-1 to Newcastle. 4-2 for Mark. 1-1 Milan qualify for Europa. Well, they won't, Clon lad. If it's 1-1, we qualify for Europa. Because heads. If it's 1-1, we're out on head-to-head, apparently.
How does that work?
Is that away goals? Maybe away goals. I don't know.
God, they really do just make it up as they go along, don't they?
That would be
I'm not sure.
now.
They will explain it pre-match what the results would mean.
Foxy, obviously, with his Mickey hat on, as always. Mickey with a perfect hat trick does the whatever celebration that is.
Shush
celebration, yeah. To us, I guess.
I predicted him to score.
Wants to see PSG out completely. Yes, I do too.
That'd be hilarious.
3-1 to Southern Geordie. To corner face says 1-1. I understood we go through. No, they don't. The Clon lad. Yeah, I was thinking that. But maybe it is. Head-to-headers for both teams, but do away goals come into it? I don't know. Now someone's put that. I'm questioning myself now. I always thought 1-1 and any draw we're through, but I don't know now. Vincent says a nervy 1-0.
Logically, it's more likely that it goes down to goal difference after head to head. So,
and Don Brown says, whatever happens tomorrow, the club can be proud of their showing in a group that's that strong, so I'm happy regardless. Yeah, I agree with that. But it'd be great to go through. Wouldn't
we
it?
had the strongest group in the competition. I think we've done it. We've shown, the fact that we've still got a chance to go through in second on the final game. That's magnificent.
Yeah, I agree. We've got our Arsenal fan back in. Arsenal, and I think they've drew tonight, haven't they? One apiece. So Arsenal qualify for the next round. Fair play to them. Congratulations to you, Chris. And then he says, this channel is anti-Middlesbrough, Sunderland and Arsenal. We don't really give a shit about Arsenal, Chris, to be honest. But Sunderland and Middlesbrough, absolutely. Yeah, of course we are. We're Newcastle. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Toon Trev says 3-1-2 and Gordon 1 Miggy 2. Kenzie says Everton 3-0 Spurs for 1 Alex. Yeah, we've had the bounce back ability, but we're having 0 rest right now. So there's that. Well, to bounce back from them 2 games would be great, wouldn't it? Sean McEwen says 2-1 us, Wilson and Marley in the 95th minute for winner. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Only a 0-0 draw benefits
No,
Toon,
I
says
don't
Cynical
think
Jim.
that's true. I don't think that's right.
We should have to check that up. Because Ian says it is goal difference, away goals don't count now. There you go. Anyway, that's the end of it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, says Julie. So it'll be a 7:30 start, Ben. All those that were interested for the game tomorrow, the watch along, which you can join with us tomorrow night. Hopefully it's a happy days one like the PSG one was.
Well, I'm back now. So we'll know if it's me or not. If we win tomorrow, it was me. No more holidays. If I go on holiday, I'll have to bring the laptop with me.
So Stato's back, so that's it. That's another reason why I've changed my tune as well. But you can join Paul tomorrow at 11 o'clock for his daily show. That's a live show now. And of course, the 3 of us will be here tomorrow for the watch along for the Milan game, which is the most important game of the season so far. So yeah, 8 o'clock kickoff. We'll be here at 7:30. So until then, good night from me. Sato, do my line.
Away the lads and lasses.
And we shall see you both all tomorrow at 7:30. Good night, everyone.
Come back and check on some green.